Last year, there was $240 billion of trade across the Atlantic in digital goods. Over the last 2 years, the last study that was done in 2013 showed that European multinationals had $2 trillion of sales in the United States. And studies have shown that US multinationals employ 3.8 million people in the European Union. So this is about privacy. It is about technology. It is about jobs. It is about trade. And it is about fundamentally growing the economy while balancing both privacy and safety. All of this needs to move forward. This cannot be allowed to fail. But there are two other issues we need to think about before this year comes to an end. We also need a stronger rule of law across the Atlantic. This is another issue that we at Microsoft have been focused on. When you think about the issues around transatlantic data, it's worth reflecting on what is just common sense and obvious. There's less European data in the United States than there is in Europe itself. And yet right now, there is in court, based on what has happened in Ireland at our Dublin data center, this building, and the lawsuit we filed, an ongoing issue, because it is the continuing position of the Justice Department of the United States that it does not need to wait for data to come to the United States in order to unilaterally obtain it. The US government continues to take the position that it can use its search warrants to force companies under its jurisdiction to go get European data and bring it to the United States without disclosing this to any European government or complying with any European law. And so at a time when almost 100% of the world's attention is focused on what I'll call 10% of the issue, which is European data in the United States, it is important for all of us to stay focused on the other 90% and how European data will be protected in Europe itself from the extraterritorial reach unilaterally of US action. And this is an issue on which we at Microsoft do not stand alone. If you look at the amicus or friend of the court briefs that were filed even at the Intermediate Appellate Court in New York, you will find that there were briefs filed by 28 technology and media companies, by 23 trade associations and advocacy groups, by 35 of the leading computer scientists in the United States, and by the government of Ireland itself. This, too, is a defining privacy issue for 2016. And this, too, is just too important to fail. Finally, we need to think about one other thing that is being addressed and needs to continue to be addressed on both sides of the Atlantic and indeed around the world. And that is the need to modernize our laws so that we can protect privacy as it needs to be protected in the digital age. That's why we're enthusiastic about the action that was taken last year and will be pursued this year with the General Data Protection Regulation here in Europe. It's why we're enthusiastic about other measures such as the e-privacy directive and other aspects of the Digital Single Market Initiative. And it's why we're so focused on the need for similar action in the United States. The reality is on both continents and indeed more broadly around the world, we are trying to address the issues of the current day with laws that have become antiquated. Some things improve with age. Technology products and technology laws are seldom among them.